Good morning, all of you. Today, the topic which we are going to deal in the subject social and marketing research is housing. It's again the socio-economic problem of Indian society. At how housing has become the society problem, the economical problem for the Indian society. Today, we are going to see this topic housing. As we heard about the housing, no doubt, the first keyword which strike in our mind is home or house. It means somewhere the people who are striving, who are deprived of this basic need. Like we all know that there are only three basic needs: food, shelter, cloth. Food and cloth is the other part. Here we are talking about the shelter. Shelter. How we can provide the shelter. Shelter means house. It means the people who don't have their own house or they are living on the different slums area, on any occupied areas or any on footpaths or just beside the roads. You can see there are many people, they are having the very kacha house type of house, or you can say that it's a jugaad house. In Indian language we can say that they only they are, and they are living their life just like a pilgrimage. And the nomads people, they are moving from here and there whenever the government is taking initiatives against them, any action against them, they remove them from that roadside, from the footpath. Then they again find a better place where no one can disturb, or it's a place where it is out of focus, nobody focuses on these areas, so they try to make their shelter at these places. It means all these people who are facing the problem of housing are also poor. As we know, all the socio-economic problems are, however, interrelated. As we have studied in the earlier lecture, that poverty. It means somewhere the person who is poor, the person who is not availing his basic facilities. It means he is not availing his basic facilities, and the basic facilities coming in the housing also. It includes housing also, shelter also. So somewhere we can relate it that people who are poor, he must be facing the problem of housing. Okay, now according to this slide, how it defines the housing, or how we can define the word housing. The housing may be defined as an architectural unit for accommodation in order to protect the occupants from the forces of nature. As we have studied in our childhood that why do we need house? Then we write the answer. We need house because it protects us from sunlight, from the thunder, winter, or from the different seasons, and from the natural calamities. It protects us. Okay, but are really we are getting protected, or the people who are poor or who don't have a house with these facilities to protect themselves? Just think, a person who has made his house just of the plastic polythenes, you can say that flex papers, of these things, and well, bamboo, is he protected from these natural forces? No, he is not protected from these natural forces. However, it's just the place where he can say that I am residing here, or just he's using that place to sleep in the night and just to make foods, nothing else. It means it's not the architectural unit, because here we are using the terminology architectural unit, which means a thing which is being made according to the plan. But their houses are not made of plan. It is just a use and throw place. Once again, they will be made vacant from the government. They will again vacant that place and just move to the another place. It means all those people are facing the problem of shelter or the problem of housing. But in wider meaning, housing covers all the ancillary services and community facilities which are essential to human well-being. In addition to physical structure, it includes water supply, sanitation, disposal, disposal of water, recreation, and other basic amenities life. We don't find any of these things in the people who are living the slums area. We don't find the physical structure. We don't find the water supply to their houses. We don't find sanitation, how the water has been disposed of. We don't find the recreation or other basic amenities of life in these areas. Why? Because it's their houses was not made according to the architecture unit, the word which you can see in the first line of this slide. Okay, so that's why it's only a place where you can hide yourself. You can protect yourself from the little rainy or the little bit of summer or the little bit of winter, chilled cold. Okay, but it doesn't include all these facilities which should be there in any house which is made according to architecture. Okay, so if we are taking the example from the Bihar, in Bihar you will see that the CM has a running scheme that is known as the Sat Nishchay Yojana, seven Sat Nishchay scheme. That under this Sat Nishchay Yojana, you will see that there is the scheme for the water supply, there is one scheme for the sanitation, there is the scheme for disposal of water, all these things because somewhere this scheme is targeting the below poverty line people. It will be facilitated to those who are deprived of these facilities so that they can be came into the they can be made to enter into the mainstream of the society because they are just behave like a social destitution people, social destituted group. They are not included in the society. They are far from the society. They are not the part of the society. We are not treating them as a part of the society because they are not having those type of mainstream schemes. That's why. But however, government is trying to focus on this, and they are taking many measures which are fruitful for them to come back through the mainstream of the society, so that they can enjoy all their rights. Now, what we can see in this slide that there are several housing programs launched by different governments in the different years. But however, after having all these yojanas, all these programs, still millions of people in India, in Indian society, are homeless. They don't have the home, they don't have the shelter. Still, they are they are protecting themselves in the night to take a slip in the different ran basera, on the footpath, or in the roadside. Just wherever they find it's a safe place, no one comes here, they just settle there. Okay, so it's however a slap on these housing programs that after having the dozen of programs, it's not implemented, it's not effectively implemented. That's why these people are not using these programs. The first program, if we according to these are only the programs which are launched by the government in the first year. On the second year, it's very effective, but just after the change of the government, it's again no one asking about these programs. The number of times the government changes, the number of times the name of the program changes, its effectiveness changes, its pattern, its the content which includes in this program also changes. So these are the loopholes in this housing program. However, we can see that there are some famous programs like Rajiv Awas Yojana, Indira Awas Yojana, Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission. All these programs were effectively implemented. But after the change of the government, we see that the latest one is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Okay, these are the remedies through which the socio-economic problem of housing can be removed. Okay, the next topic which we will move towards is the child labor after housing. It is the next socio-economic problem existed in our society. Now, if we are talking about the child labor, the first thing come in our mind that whatever places we visit, we see in the hotels, we see in the tea stalls, we see in the different factories that childs below the age of 14, 8 years, 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, children were working at these places. And very smoothly they are working. And no one is even caring about them. That why they are working there? Is it their need? Is it the age, proper age, appropriate age to work there? Nobody is taking concern of it. Either the either the owner or the businessman who has let them engage these children, he is just knowing whatever his profit. He's just thinking about the productivity of these children and the output or the profit which he is gaining from these children. No one is caring about it. There are many laws, there are many preventive actions, there are many constitutional rights for these things. But however, they are working. Let's have the several reasons to discuss on this lecture. Now, according to the Constitution, our law, how the word child has been defined. Child is defined by the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986 as a person who has not completed the age of 14 years. He will be considered as a child according to the Child Labor Act 1986. Or, as a layman, we can say that child labor is the practice of having children engaged in economic activity on a part of full-time basis or a part-time basis. It doesn't mean. Okay. However, he is engaged in that economic activity that child is also earning, and however, the multiple of times the person who has engaged in these activities, he is earning. It's just a part of the business. But however, we are just taking it as part of the business that it's none of my business. A child is working anywhere. We don't play the role of the whistleblower. However, we should think from the part of the humanity that every child is considered as a gift of God, and he must be nurtured with care and affection within the family and society. The same nurture, the same care which we are showing to our child, our wife, the same affection, care should be given to these children so that it makes a bright or a prosperous future for them, and it also results into the bright and prosperous future for the country also, if that child is nurtured with care and affection. But unfortunately, due to the socio-economic problems, like children were forced to work in industries, leather factories, hotels, and eateries. It means somewhere we are also responsible for these type of socio-economic problems because uh, these are only the examples: industry, leather factories, hotels, and eatery, which can be seen in the day-to-day life. But there are many more examples which we don't want to open, which we don't want to disclose, like maximum number of families want a servant. Which type of servant they want? They want the servant below the age of 40. Why it is so? Because it is being available at very cheaper rate, and that child can do all types of work, from washing the clothes to making the food, cleaning the surface, cleaning the floor, each and everything he is doing. That's why it means if we just compare these facts and the numbers which we'll get from the child servants working in the different flats, apartments, house, homes, it will just near about to the child laborers working in the industries, leather factories, hotels, and eatery. So somewhere we are also responsible for it. Why we are engaging data? Why we are engaging data that age of child in our house? Just to save our money, and we are saying that, oh, child labor is a very bad habit. It should not be occurred in our society. We are making many things according to it, but we are not implementing these things in our home. Now, we will see that what are the major causes of child labor, why the child is involved in the labor, why he is called the child labor, what are the major causes that he is involved in it. The first, no doubt, the first and the major reason, which is the, we can say, the parent reason of all the socio-economic problem. You will heard the word the sister companies and the parent companies. Now, according to these, we can say that child labor is the sister problem and the parent problem is the poverty. Because poverty is one of the main cause of child labor. In developing countries, poverty is one of the major drawbacks, and the children were considered as helping hand to feed their families, to support their families, and to support themselves. Like the people who is not illiterate, the people who is not literate, he is illiterate and he is also poor. Then he just increases the population. He go for the marriage for his social need. After having this social need, he just pop up babies, and he think that the number of hands will be there in his family. It means the number of hands are counted as the number of earning hands. Like uh, a father having 6 children, he will think that I am having 12 hands to earn. Earlier I was earning alone in the family. Now I am having the 12 more hands who will earn. But how they will earn? They are just thinking that the children, as he has grown up, children. So after grown up, he can say after After this, he can say that these children were grown, and now he can say that he will work in the different areas which we have just included right now. So these are the major problems, major causes of the child labor. And however, that child who has lost his father and who was not any earning member in his family, so they are just doing, they are involved in the economic activity to support their families, to feed their families. Second cause is the debt. Many times you will see that in the rural areas, majority of the cases are from the rural areas. The poor economic condition of people in India force them to borrow money. The illiterate seek debt from moneylenders during emergency situation. At latter point of time, they find themselves difficult in paying back the debts which can be taken here very easily from the moneylenders, the unauthorized moneylenders. Okay, like sahukars, and they charge a very heavy interest on it. And the people who are taking money, they just take it for their farming, for their occupation, for their business, for the marriage purpose, or to celebrate any occasion, which he has to celebrate out of the social restrictions, social norms. So he's taking huge debt, and whenever he fails, he finds difficult to paying it back with the debt as well as the interest. At that time of, as a result, the debtors were made to work for the money lenders, and then debtors drag their children too in assessing them so that debts could be paid off. It's a part of just paying back to them. And the third cause of the child labor is very unknown. It is not usually you will know in the newspapers or through the news channels. If you go in the depth study to find out the causes of the child labor, you will see that there are some professional needs also to engage these child laborers in the economic activity. Like only one example I'm taking here of the bangle making industry. The bangle making industry. If you are moved towards the area of Firozabad, Firozabad is famous for the bangle industry in India, and Firozabad is in the UP, Uttar Pradesh. If you will go there, you will find that in every house there is the bangle making. In every house, you can say it's just like the small scale industry there of the bangles, and the childrens of the minimum ages are just involved in this industry. Why it is so? It is only due to delicate hands and little fingers, which needed to do very minute work with the extreme excellent and precision. Why? Because if you are making the bangles of the small sizes, at that time of at that particular time we need the child labors. They make it very precisely, very excellently, because delicate hands are needed for the bangle making purpose. Eh, because in small scale industry it's not updated yet, it's using the children's hand technology, not the machine technology, not the automatic technology. That's why it is the demand of their profession. Few more examples you can take: the tobacco industry, the firecracker industry, you will see that maximum child laborers were engaged in these industries, either in the tobacco industry, in the part of the bidi making, in the forest areas, in the rural areas, you will find the maximum children were there. They are involved in this activity. So this is the professional cause of the child labor. Now there are certain rights of children under national law, because they are, as we know, the constitution has the different rights for these to protect their safeguards, to make them enjoy the general life just like all the people. Their education, their freedom, their dignity, all things were considered under the national law, and the government has created many laws to prohibit this child labor. But however, the current scenario of child labor shows something else. In Asia, there were 33 million children employed in various forms of child labor. However, ILO has made number of ratification that it should not be there. Even the ILO is celebrating the World Day Against Child Labor to create awareness against to create awareness about the child labor, that no one should involve the child labor in their business, in their industries. Then also we can say that 33 million people are involved. and an estimated 150 million children are involved in the child labor worldwide as per UNICEF data. 33 million from Asia and all over the world. 150 million children are involved in these activities. Okay, so the remedies are what? The remedies are just to, as the poverty, as I told you, the parent problem will be removed automatically. The sister problem will be also removed. The parent problem is the poverty. The poverty will be removed. The people are getting employment. The people will be literate. Automatically, it will also eradicate the child labor problems. So, in this lecture, we have gone through the two problems, two socioeconomic problems. The number one is the housing problem, and number two is the child labor. Okay, thank you.